Alright, it's finally time to talk about the Blu Life One X, my pros and cons. So overall, I still feel it's a great phone, but of course there's a few things that I need to address about it. So let's go ahead and get into that. First things first, I felt that the protector that came with the phone, it's a pretty good protector. I keep it on the phone at all times. Feels good in the hand. It makes the phone feel pretty good as well. So it doesn't take away from the thickness or anything. So I think I've talked about it before in the unboxing, but just want to reinstate that again. Getting into the phone, one of the weird things I found about it is right when I got into the phone, it actually felt a little sluggish. The transitions were terribly slow for me, and I remember that back in the older days, we used to have to go into the settings of the phone and disable either disable the animations or just speed them up greatly. You see I have here that the animations and the durations all set to 0.5. That's right before pretty much turning them off. I set them this way because if you don't do that, you never really see exactly how speedy or snappy the phone is. The animations will make the phone seem much slower than it really is. And so the first thing I had to do was adjust these settings. Once you really do get those animations and things in place, the phone once again feels very, very snappy, very smooth, opening and closing different apps without a problem. And so like I said, it's very important to just go into your developer options and adjust those animations to the speed you like. That way your phone can feel just as fast as it actually is. So that's just something to think about. Another quirk or small gripe I had was this weird, well, it's the second SIM notification. Because I only use one SIM, I'm on T-Mobile, I wasn't using the other SIM slot. So that notification for not having another SIM, for not having a second a second SIM card in the slot was kind of annoying. There's no way to turn it off. It just sits there. So, but over time, I pretty much got used to it, and eventually, I just started to ignore it completely. So it was a bit annoying, but yeah, it's there. As usual, people always care about gaming when it comes to any new phone. I, for one, am not that big a gamer. But I did download a racing game here. I think it's called GT Racing, just to show you guys that the phone can handle most games pretty much without any problems at all. One time that I loaded up GT Racing, and for whatever reason, the moment I tapped to start the race, instead of starting it just crashed on me. I don't know what that was about, but it hasn't done it since and plays just fine. I'm actually not a big fan of the bigger games for racing and even shooting games and stuff like that. I like to play games such as Dragon Era and also Valkyrie Crusade. These games are not what you would call heavy games. They don't really tax the phone that much at all. But one thing I did find is that if you're ever worried about how loud the speaker was going to be and if it was going to be enough for you, trust me, it gets pretty loud. Well, if you're going to be gaming and also stuff like that, you most likely want to know about battery life. The battery life on the phone was pretty good overall. Right now, you see me holding the phone. It's been on for a little over 7 hours, and I still had 31% battery left. And actually, I would have more battery left if it wasn't for the fact that on this particular day, I had my Wi-Fi on pretty much the whole time. So you can see the Wi-Fi actually took up 28%, and then the standby took up a little bit more. So With Wi-Fi on, it does drain the phone a bit more than I would like, but it's not really a hassle. Overall, the battery life is pretty good on the phone. Phone storage. This phone, the model I have is a 16 gig model, and it has 4 gigs of actual app space where you're installing all your apps, and then the other 10, there's 10 gigs for the actual storage of media. Do note that if you have a 16 gig model of any phone, when it's formatted, that only means that you have 10 gigs of usable space. It does not include the actual space for the apps itself. So for this phone, you have 4 gigs app space and 10 gigs usable media space, and I felt that was more than enough. And today on our list of gimmicky, useless stuff, I didn't have the other feature here, but this is the gesture unlock. And there's also the gestures for upset silent, upset speaker. The thing about it is, most gestures on phones to me are gimmicky and pretty much useless. I hardly ever use them. This is definitely one of them. As you saw, swiped across the screen and unlocks the phone. I don't see a use for that whatsoever. In that same breath, the whole bass feature this phone has, bass audio enhance, is just as useless as well. One nice thing I did find about this phone is it was actually able to, for whatever reason, I guess between the T-Mobile making upgrades to their network and overall the performance of the phone itself, I had absolutely no problems playing all my YouTube videos that I watch frequently throughout the day at work on HD on the actual cellular network. I didn't need Wi-Fi at all. And I always get a smooth play from YouTube on HD, and I think that's just absolutely awesome. I said before that the speeds I get was somewhere around 5 megabits down, 2 megabits up on the T-Mobile H Plus or 4G as they want to call it network, and it's more than enough. It plays all my videos on HD, and the screen 5 inches. It looks great. So that's something I really enjoyed. And once again, I can give you another example of how loud that speaker is. To get your charger, and you have to excuse a lot, you may be able to see that or not. You get the 5 volt 1 amp charger. One of the last things I want to say though is once again, I mean, if you remember in the unboxing, I was talking about those bottom controls, those the home menu and back button, and how hard it would be possibly to see that. And sure enough, it is. Right as it is right now, I just pushed them because I remember, you know, it's kind of like muscle memory. I remember where the buttons are, but I never actually can see them, especially in daylight. You see, I have to hold my hand over the phone just so you can see it on the camera. It is very hard to see those buttons. So I hope that in future models they will make these things a little bit brighter if ever they go this path again. I feel that the Blu Life One X offers a sort of like a total package and a great price to performance at below $300. You get a 5-inch screen, HD 1080 display. It is almost stock Android, even though it's JellyBean. It really doesn't get in your way. It's still fast. You have all kinds of features built into this little bitty custom ROM that they have on here, such as schedule power on-off feature and the ability to adjust your transitions and things like that. All these stock options are available to you right on the phone, right from the time you power it on. You don't have to root it to get options that would otherwise not be available to you at all on most other phones. The hardware is plenty and keeps the phone pretty fast with the 2 gigs of RAM. It's a 16 gig model that I have, but and the quad core CPU is It's very snappy. This phone is fast. It's great. If you're looking for a phone that doesn't break the bank and gives you all the options you could possibly need for the next year or more, the Blu Life One X is definitely a great choice.